Hi, I'm Craig. That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. Weekdays, we're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Episode 114, Brad. We made it.
Here we are once again. Another nice Sunday evening. It's August 8th, 2021.
Hey, a
Can you
little bit
believe
older now. A little bit older. Look at you.
A little bit older. I had a birthday this week.
How'd it go?
It was pretty
I
good.
mean, I was there, so you know.
You did.
This
Craig
is
came
me
out.
talk. This is me talking. Hey, radio podcast guy, how'd it go?
You know what? My birthday was great. My brother came out and visited and had a nice time with my nieces. You know what? That was really nice. I appreciate you coming up. And,
was fun.
That was good stuff. Hey, speaking of August 8th,
Mhm.
on this day, Craig,
Hmm?
this day in the year 1987, what was the number one song in the country?
1987. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. Is that it?
I'm just gonna let you go. I
Oh.
love it when you
My
sing that.
girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. Is that right?
It is not right,
Oh,
but I do. I like your version better than the original at
Okay.
this point. No, the number one song on this date, August 8th, 1987, was I have climbed highest mountains.
oh,
I have run
that's not how it sounds.
through the fields only to be with you.
Wait, did he? Was the music video in a casino?
I think it looks like it was on a Las Vegas strip or something like that.
And I still haven't found
Everybody's like,
what
"Who are
I'm
these
looking
guys?"
for. Yeah.
Look at you too.
Hey, nice. Nice.
I love the music videos where they go out in public to shoot them, because you're either a big time band like U2 and people are like, "Hey, U2's making a video," or you're nobody.
Right.
Well, look, he just completely kissed on some.
Straight up
person.
Cuomo'd her, dude.
Oh, look, she just walked away. Gave her a straight up kiss on the lips, and then just like, "All right, you go over there now."
Oh man.
Couldn't do that these days.
Man, Bill Cosby called. He wants his
Oh my,
feelings back. All right, nice. Anyway, sorry, okay.
that's fantastic.
Looking at strategy. That he learned it all from U2 and Bono.
Yeah,
So
U2, The Edge on the street in on the outside of somewhere in Las
that's
Vegas.
old. Hey, that's old strip Vegas. By the way,
Yeah.
hey, I'm doing actually a community meetup in Vegas in like 2 weeks.
You are?
Yeah. Yes, I'm actually going to be in Vegas on the 23rd. I'm very much looking forward to this. Very much. Let me pull up. I'll add it. I'll add a graphic here in a second. You just hang tight. Anyways, yeah, coming up
Yeah.
on the 23rd. I would love for anybody who wants to come out to meet me in Vegas. My legendary little community over on Twitch. We've been planning it for a couple months. We planned it, and then guess what?
Yeah,
The mask came back. So, anyways, we're working on it.
free
Yeah.
lobster shrimp.
No,
Bar?
absolutely not. Nope,
Okay.
nope,
Not
nothing free.
included with the meetup. Okay.
No, absolutely not. But I do have images. I'll put it up here. I don't know why I need to do it. I just told you everything about it. We're meeting up on the 23rd on the 23rd at the Wynn Buffet at 6
Ooh.
p.m.
So food is involved, and there may be shrimp in that buffet.
Well, possibly, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely. Yeah, you can eat as much as you want. As a matter of fact, I will probably be doing an eating challenge during that time. So, it'll be coming up. It's the Vegas meetup. Let's see.
How many lobster shrimp can you eat?
Lobster shrimp or
I
just
don't know.
shrimp?
Is lobster shrimp a thing?
I've never even heard of that before.
I don't eat seafood, so I wouldn't know. How many Las Vegas shrimp can you eat? out of the buffet. That's the challenge.
Yeah, that's a great. Maybe we'll bring that to the challenge table because I am going to do an eating challenge. That'll be the first thing we do is an eating challenge, and I'll regret it the rest of the night. It'll be outstanding. So yeah, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
See, Edgemaster says, lobster tail with shrimp wrapped around it. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh man, and look at this. Primeval just wants straight up to cancel it right away. I mean, that's a
Cancel
really
all.
good. Just cancel it all.
Yeah.
Just not even worth it. Not even worth it.
What is your favorite Las Vegas movie? Because there's a lot of movies based, about going to Las Vegas, and I only think of Vegas Vacation now.
Right. There's quite a few, and a lot of people think The Hangover, right? The Hangover is really good. It's a pretty good Vegas movie. But I like to think non-traditional. Maybe Con Air. Con Air is a Vegas movie. And there's that movie, the new movie that came out recently. It was on Netflix. Where the long and short of it was Vegas has become like this zombie place where like there's one zombie ended up going to Vegas and infecting it, and then they walled it all off, and then they sent Dave Bautista in with his ragtag group of people to go steal from the vault and take all the money and stuff. Anyways, I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was pretty fun. It was kind of like Dawn of the Dead, with Vegas. So it was pretty good. Yeah.
The Tick Rules mentions Ocean's 11.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Ocean's 11
that's
is
a good one.
Showgirls. Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Yeah. Remember how big of a deal Showgirls was?
Dude, Elizabeth Berkley showed her boob, dude.
Did she? I never even saw it.
Oh, really?
But I knew like, oh, well, she's stripping in that movie, but
Hold
I
on.
didn't know.
Hold on. Let's see if I can find it on YouTube.
Whoa. Hey, speaking of Elizabeth Berkley, I got her on my shirt right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that's funny.
Yeah, for sure. I like the show. That was it.
What are you Googling right now? Does Elizabeth Berkley show her boob in Showgirls? Is that the sentence you just typed into Google?
No. I'm gonna show you what I'm showing you. Here we go. Hold on. Listen, this is what you missed. This is called Nomi's Hot Scene. Nomi's Hot Scene. Here we go. Work. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Look at this.
We're about to get banned. No, it's Fandango movie clips.
Yeah. Well, no, it's okay. We'll probably get banned for this. So this is a hot scene. Let's see. Here we go.
This is from that movie?
This is from her. This is where she starts dancing. Let's see. Where's the dancing movie? I want to see. Like, there's a really seductive thing in this where you're like, Jesse, no! Like, look at her go.
Oh, whoa.
Do it. Yeah, I know.
She's like,
Hey,
boom.
Jesse, stop. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, he's like, she's got what it takes.
And she's like, you like that? He's like, yeah, she's the best. You're right. Let's go. She's gonna go.
We need
and
her.
you know what? I like
And you're
her.
out.
Yeah.
He turns.
We should do an entire. We should absolutely do an entire impromptu watching of
Voiceover.
of Showgirls and know nothing about the movie.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man. Oh,
I
that's
have
great.
never seen. I would love to do that.
Yes.
Just watch a movie I've never seen with the volume off, and then just guess what they're saying the whole time.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. What we did. Look at this sign I just got. Check this out from my wife. I can smell it. I can smell it in here. Look at this.
The dogs got sprayed by a skunk. Oh my gosh.
Just keep them outside. Just keep them outside. We'll take care of it. I'll take care of it in a little bit. She
I
looks
can
so
smell
defeated
it.
right now. I can literally smell it. It's
That's how I could smell it in the house.
okay. We'll keep them outside. Okay.
Got to get the tomato juice out, and
we-
so your dogs smell like wet dog and tomato juice and skunk.
We actually do have tomato juice for that reason and that reason alone. So they will
You
be getting a
guys-
tomato bath for sure. So
Y'all
anyways,
have so much of a skunk problem. You have tomato juice just
No, but-
hanging around.
Bowser's been sprayed before. So we just happen to have half a liter laying around still.
Okay.
So sometimes you just got to give your dogs a tomato bath.
Yeah, sometimes that's a shirt right
Oh
there.
my God. I will be spraying. I'll get them out there. I'm going to do this thing with the water on them and then try to get as much off, then probably dunk them and and then we'll tomato bath it. Hey, you know what is better than a tomato bath?
What's that, Craig?
as I try to transition to sweet ways. The YouTube comment of the day. It's the you. Oh man, that's good.
You know what's better than a tomato bath?
Well, what, Brad? Oh, hey, real quick before we get into the YouTube comment of the day, Zach Jacket resub tier 1 for 13 months in a row. Zach Jacket, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your support over at twitch.tv/stutteringcraig. Okay, Brad, what is the YouTube comment of the day?
YouTube comment of the day comes from Edmund. Hold on here. Get over. Okay. It takes me a while to get through these episodes because I watch them in chunks. And this was a long one because last week we talked for 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this was a long one. But to respond to Brad's question, which I don't remember what it was, but the pandemic has overall sucked, and I can understand the mental fatigue. But I'm the complete opposite. To make a long story short, I have always had dreams of being a writer. Had an idea for a story. That it wasn't until we were all stuck indoors that I started to work on that and finally sit down and write. Now I'm almost done with it and ready to start a Kickstarter for publishing funds.
Nice.
I don't have mental fatigue. I have a newfound drive to achieve my goals and actually work for my future, hopefully. Got to make the most of what's given to you. Edmund, I'm going to give you 4,327 points for your comment based on your screen name there. And that's a fantastic perspective. I don't remember exactly what I had said that pushed you to respond to this, but I had the same sort of idea at the beginning of the pandemic last year. I was like, you know what? This is great. I'm a musician. I'll just get online and start playing more. And I was doing the parodies at the time. And that's great. You know, like I've got a feeling, Craig, we're all going to be pushed into this same scenario soon. I don't think it's going to go over very well, but based on what I'm reading online, it seems like we're going to have to make the most of what we've been given pretty soon here, and then make more of it. We'll see what happens. But if you got a book to write, that's fantastic. I'm proud of you for sticking with it. It's always good to feel accomplished doing something like that.
Absolutely. That's a great way to go, Edmund. Congratulations. And know that if you have any numbers in your name, that is how many points you're probably going to get. If you do, possibly, maybe one day become the YouTube comment of the day. So I had an interesting little mishap this week. I wouldn't say mishap, a little experience. Do you want to hear about it?
No, not really.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, you want to watch some Showgirls still? There we go. All right.
You got it pulled up. Oh, boy. Ring.
So this past
what happened this week?
Oh, so this past week, here we go. Oh, okay. Ty's going crazy in the chat. Hold on, Ty. Just hang tight. We'll get to you in just a minute. I had a experience with COVID this past week where I went to a party, and I got a text 2 days later saying, hey, the host was like, hey, I got tested positive for COVID. And so naturally there was a text thread of 9 folks, and we were like, just trying to, everyone went out and got tested, and there was I think there was maybe 18 people at the party, so there were like 9 people on the thread, 10 people on the thread, something like that. And everyone was talking about, I got tested, I was negative, I was positive. So had went in, got my test, came back negative. What was weird about the party was we went out and, it was like a German themed thing. So we're all like out drinking, have a good time. And at one point, I'm there with some buddies I've known since high school, and they're like, well, let's play 3-on-3. So we played 3-on-3 outside, and we're playing and gardening and sweating all over each other and breathing all over each other as we're guarding each other and stuff. And one of the guys that I'm guarding, it has COVID right now, and he's pretty much said it's like a bad flu, right? He's been down for a couple days. He's been he is vaccinated. Both him and his wife are vaccinated, and I guess I feel pretty lucky because like we were breathing all over each other all night and like totally fine, So. Well, yes, kind of, sort of, but at the same time, it was like, hey, man. No, but like, it was weird because of the people at the party, maybe 4 of the 18 or so have COVID. The two who hosted the party, her brother, and then like one other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a good mix of some vaccinated, some unvaccinated, and the mix of vaccinated versus unvaccinated, it was like 2 and 2 of the people who have COVID, right? So, but it's weird, right? I don't understand this because as we look at this and we say like, hey, like you can't be this close to this person, you can't be right here. We were literally like as close as you can possibly be, right? Without being inside somebody else, right? And nothing happened,
Yeah.
So like, how do you know? Like, there's really no rhyme or reason as to who gets it, and it is what it is, so.
Well, the data and the science, something.
Right. Well, Tai comes in. He says, "Hi, Craig, Brad, and all. I wanted to log in and say that I think this is my last time over here. You dismissively say, yeah, people. Okay, real quick. Tai says, you dismissively say, yeah, people are dead. COVID is real, whatever. Don't think we've ever said that. But then you compare the people trying to help Nazis. That is disgusting. And just because you found one Holocaust survivor who somehow agrees, so many more are asking you to stop. After last week, I'm done giving you the facts. I'm done hearing you dismiss this all in a further and farther right-wing and extreme way.
Okay.
Vaccines save lives, and no matter how nice y'all are, not getting vaccinated is selfish. You are risking lives and proud of it. Have fun with the wave and talking about how unvaccinated folks are like Jews. Craig, I'll still watch your gaming stuff."
It's my bad influence. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there. Tai, I don't know if you're still watching. If you are, look, you're always welcome to watch the show. No, I want you to remember this first and foremost. You're always welcome to watch this show. Craig and I have never asked anybody who disagrees with us to stop watching. We've never blocked anybody or kicked anybody off.
As a matter of fact, Tai, we've had you on to have this conversation. I don't think we've ever dismissed your thoughts or how you feel about things ever. I think we've always been extremely patient with your thought process, and we've tried to follow it as best we possibly can.
Yeah. So if you don't want to watch the show, we can't help that. That's fine. But come back anytime. No big deal. I don't think we've ever dismissively said, yeah, people are dead. COVID is real, whatever. We address that every single time we talk about COVID. COVID's real. People have died. We're not saying it's not real. What we have always examined are the inconsistencies of the pandemic. Now, I think that it's kind of dismissive to hear a Holocaust survivor who not somehow agrees, who literally lived history and is one of the very few people we have left to hear that perspective, for you to hear them speak and be like, well, somehow you got a Holocaust survivor to speak. Like, I watched that video, and this is my perspective. I watched that video and I thought, wow, I wish people sat up and listened to somebody who has gone through the most, I don't know, analyzed a horrendous time in history, so much so that we spent the last 5 years calling this a Nazi. This is Nazi. This is like a Nazi. This is like the Germans. This is like the Holocaust. Like every day, something else was the Holocaust. Something else was a Nazi. Something else was whatever. Fascism, dictatorship. This was a lady who lived it. Okay. And she's speaking from her perspective. Okay. This was one of the few people still alive who lived through all that stuff none of us lived through. I wanted to play it on the show last week because I think it's important to hear. If you want to dismiss her and say, well, somehow I didn't get her, I didn't find her, that was a lady in Canada, we didn't somehow find her, I think it's just an important person to listen to. Okay, that's the only reason I wanted to share it last week.
I would like to point out the statement here of saying is after last week, I'm done giving you the facts. I'm done hearing you dismiss this all in a further and further right-wing and extreme way. What is extreme and right-wing about literally being as moderate as you can possibly be in saying, hey, I just want a little bit more time to learn about this vaccine that just came out about 6 months ago. I just want a little bit more time about it. That's all. I would like to learn a little bit more, you know? And I think that you should be able to choose what goes in your body. You know,
Can't do that, Greg.
I don't understand what is so right wing about that. Because the thing is, I'm not. I'm like, when you look at what liberalism is, I believe in rights for everybody. I want everybody to be treated equally. Like I want nothing but for people to be happy, right? I want people to be able to live with a great wage. Like these are all important things to me, right? But because I feel that you should be able to choose what you put in your body, that's far right? Nah, man, that's right down the center. And if right down the center is far right to you, you need to re-examine where you're at.
Yeah. It seems like I've run into this conversation so many times. I'm always, Tai, I want you to know, if you're still watching, I'm always willing to have the conversation. I have conversations with people until I will talk to them. And it seems like every time I reach a point, the other person goes, I'm out. This happened actually with Tai on Facebook. He just got tired of seeing my post. He said, I'm out. I had a friend that I knew for many years who was like, look, you know I love you, but I think what you're saying is dangerous. It's like, how? Because I asked a question, I'm dangerous? I've been called dangerous more times in the last 6 months than I've been called dangerous my entire life. It's ridiculous because I ask questions, because I'm asking you to think outside of the box. Now, this narrative that because you ask questions or because you're going, what is in this vaccine, or because you don't want to do what the government's telling you to, it's the same thing every time. Tai just did it again. Well, you're just an extreme right-wing person who watches Fox. It happens every day. It's a cycle. I've heard it many times. And that's
talk about a playbook. Like
yeah,
it's like the most generic playbook you can possibly get.
Right. And so I would ask you to consider the possibility that maybe you've been programmed to think that, because you see it. I watch CNN clips. I see it. I watch all of the news clips. I compare and contrast, and you can see the playbook on both sides. You can actually see it. And I get that feedback, that little bubble that each side is in, from the people on the side that are calling you selfish, extreme, dangerous. I get that all day, every day. I get it. But what you're doing is saying, look, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. I'm out. I don't care how, listen to that. I don't care how nice you are. I'm out. That's something to examine on your end. And you're going to have to look in the mirror, because everybody's standing around going, oh, well, I'm right. You're wrong.
The main difference here, Tai, is that we want to hear your perspective, and no one's dismissing it at all. As Com says, we are a community that respects all points of view. We don't have to agree, but as long as you don't attack others, you're welcome here. You can join other communities that only think the way you do, but that's up to you. We don't believe in echo chambers and never silence opposing views. 100%.
Yeah.
Won't do it. Refuse to do it. Would love to hear opposing views. And just because you don't like our views doesn't mean that we're crazy or right-wing conspiracy theorists or whatever, because we're not. The thought process is you should do what's best for you. And if legitimately, if you think that's far right, you need to examine where you're at on the spectrum, because I'm literally a 5 on a scale of 0 to 10. That's where I'm at. I'm pretty much right in the center. So that probably makes you probably a 0. I'm just saying.
Keep going. Go ahead.
Kekub says, as someone who used to work for the Jewish Museum in New York and actually worked with Holocaust survivors, it's disgusting how either left or right sides of things have thrown out the word Nazi, Holocaust, and Hitler. It's degrading. I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think it's disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting, personally. And I think that's great. That's great that you worked there with Holocaust survivors. I mean, talk about an experience, being able to talk with people. Like, I remember talking to my granddad, who was in the service, and he was in World War II, and actually talking to him. And you hear this all the time about people who lived through World War II or Vietnam or any sort of war, where they come back and they just don't want to talk about their experiences. That's bottled up. It's inside them. They have PTSD. They don't want to experience it again. But the Holocaust is something that they have to talk about. I mean, if they don't talk about it, they're literally the last stories, the last accounts of what happened. You know, so it's important to take those stories and learn from them. So
Yeah, I had shared that lady's video. I share it like every day on my Twitter, just because I'm like, more people need to see it. I think that's one of the most important videos that's out there right now. And I shared that the other day in a conversation, and a person said, "If you find this video compelling, I feel sad for you." And I'm like, really? I feel sad for you because you're dismissing this lady's perspective, who actually lived during a time we are perpetually comparing our time to. Like, she's one of the few, like I said. What I wanted to bring up was this quote from Zuby on Twitter. He had posted the other day. He said, "You now know who will stand by you regardless, and who will turn on you because the TV told them to. It's good to know."
man,
And this is what we are experiencing right now. A lot of people bailing, bailing on friendships and family, just because it makes them uncomfortable, Oh, you're saying that? Well, I've been told that you're selfish, so I'm out of here. You are selfish. I don't care how nice you are, how long I've known you.
right.
All the nice things you've done for me over the years, or our back and forth, at the time you've taken out of your time to respond to me, or whatever. That is the most ridiculous thing. So anyway,
John came
hey,
in with a
John.
$5 super chat. Says, "You guys are middle of the road in my body, my choice." Well, thank you, John.
Hey.
Appreciate that.
Thank you,
$5
John.
to Brad right there. That's great. Good for you, Brad.
Awesome.
Cheetah Man says, I can understand things being triggering, as we all experience things differently. Absolutely, totally. But just because you experience things differently doesn't mean your experience is right. And just because I experience things differently doesn't mean mine is right. We're all going through this thing,
Well, that's the thing, is we're supposed to be talking and exchanging our experiences to shape our opinions and things. We're not supposed to all just be like, everybody, get the vaccines, and then everybody goes, okay.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Real quick, they call me Mystery Y. Says, tuned in just now. Did you guys watch the movie already? If this is the Wave by Todd Strasser, I used it twice in English/language arts classes. Short and vital read. Is this by Todd Strasser, Brad? Because this is a 1980s after school special we're going to get to in just a few minutes.
Todd Strasser. I don't know who actually made the movie. I will.
Or maybe it was a book. I don't know. But we'll get to it in just a little bit. Before we get to that, real quick, I want to say that Hawkeye resub Prime for 1 year, 12 months. Says 1 year of supporting someone who I've watched for years. Hey, thank you so much, Hawkeye. I greatly appreciate the long-time support. Moosh came in with a resub, a tier 1 for 14 months. Says, evening, friends. Moosh, great to see you. Thank you so much. Travis came in with 200 bits. Says, just as with everything, there will be people on both sides, even within Holocaust survivors, just like every other group in America. Correct. Invader, resub tier 1 for 12 months in a row. 13 total months. Says, whoop, whoop, 1 year. Invader, thank you very much. Great to see your face. Travis came in with 300 more bits. Says, I think if people disagree with you, they can speak up in the chat. I do that. I do all the time. Actually, it's one of the reasons I chat in these streams, so my perspective can be heard and perhaps enlighten somebody, or the other way around. That's right, yeah. Travis. Thank you very much. I think the more people talk, that this is a show that's built around conversation. Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. That's right. That's the whole idea here. And right now, the best way to converse with you guys is through the chat. And every once in a while, we'll open up to call-ins, and we encourage you guys, like we have with Tai before. So Tai, if you're still here, obviously you're more than welcome to come on in. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I started using my social media platforms too, because I have a mix of people there. I want them to talk to each other. The problem is these conversations are so, you know, um, spiteful. People come in and they're
Yeah.
just like, you know,
Look,
"Well,
you're nice, but
you-"
I can't deal with you anymore.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
David says, I'm a dental student and I've done research in the past, and this is an outstanding statement. The bottom line is that science and research are hard. You can be an expert in the field and have a hypothesis and get completely shattered by something nobody expected. I can see both sides of the vaccine argument, to be honest. Right, for sure. And I, I think the other thing right there, as somebody who's done a lot of research, and David, um, you can take numbers and data and manipulate them however you want to manipulate them. You can present them. It's all how the data is presented. If let's just say 60% of the United States is vaccinated, right? Instead of going like 60% of the United States is vaccinated. How great is that? You know, you go 40% of the United States is not vaccinated. What is wrong with them?
yeah.
It's the exact same statement, just presented two separate ways, right?
Yeah. Also, or 60% of America frustrated with the other 40% programming. Like I saw an article the other day. 4 out of 5 vaccinated people are frustrated with the unvaccinated. And it's like, what kind of headline is that? What are you even saying there? There's nothing of substance there other than just getting somebody to read it and go, I am frustrated with them. It's
Right.
just feeding a narrative when you don't need to be frustrated with me and my choices, my decisions.
Jeff brings up a really good question. Jeff says, if these vaccines get FDA approval, would that change your mind at all? What would it take for you to consider them safe? Now, to be clear, I've never said they're not safe. I've never said that, right? And I think that's amazing that people have done the gymnastics in their head to be like, well, because Craig has another vaccine, he doesn't think they're safe. I think the vaccines have saved like millions of lives. I really do. For me, there's one major hurdle that really, really messes with me with the whole thing. The FDA approval, it's important, right? The biggest hurdle for me with the vaccine is that nobody is held accountable for them, right? So if something happens to me and I, God forbid, die, I'm one of the 0.006% or something that happened that I end up dying, right? Nothing can be done about that for my family. And I know that's a total like super sliver of a percent. I totally understand that, right? But for me, being in a percentage that is extremely low risk, when you look at the charts, then you look at the data from the last year and a half, I think I'm going to be all right, And like I said, I'm not anti-vax at all. I think I have all my other vaccines. I think that's great. All my kids are vaccinated and everything else. But for me, it's just the fact that nobody is held accountable for these things. They legally can't be these companies can't be held accountable for them. And until that changes, then I'm not. That's probably the biggest hurdle for me. And I think that's fair. I don't see how people don't think that's fair. So yeah. Plymouth says, have people had deaths from a flu shot or such? Just curious. You had a really interesting stat on that, Brad. The chart that you had. Remember the chart that you had?
That the one with the spike up at the end.
Yeah. Did you email it to me?
I did. I would share that. It's a VAERS chart. It's based on VAERS data. Now, a lot of people don't care about VAERS. A lot of people disregard VAERS. For me, I think it's incredibly interesting that the line on reports for like the last several decades is pretty consistent, and it just happens to shoot up. The idea and why it's blown off is that, anybody can report and people are like the idea that so many people out there are just taking the time to fill in this big, long thing they've got to fill out this bit a long report and submit this information. It's not like they just get to type in and like their name and what happened and submit. It's a long series of questions. So the idea that there's thousands and thousands of people that are taking the time just to cause trouble and mess with the numbers on the VAERS report is ridiculous. It's almost conspiratorial, if you ask me.
Dun, dun, dun. Tai says, I may have come off a bit harsh. I agree with, I agree still with what I wrote, but for my sanity, I need to take a break. I think you are both well intentioned. Well, then why call us far right and extremist? In extreme, your words, not ours, right? There's nothing malicious about what we're talking about for sure. So, RW Halt came in with a great question with the tier one sub for 6 months, halfway to a year. Says, sorry, Sunday nights are hard for me to make. Question: what would happen if everyone decided to get vaxxed? Would COVID still stand a chance? Yes, absolutely it would.
Clearly, clearly we're seeing that though.
Well, I think here's the problem. The world population right now is 7.9 billion people. Are you going to vaccinate every single person in the world?
Right.
No,
and
you're not. So yes, of course it would.
Right. This idea that everybody everywhere, regardless of religious exemptions, medical exemptions, previous medical history, the idea that everybody everywhere needs to get this thing in order to eradicate it is unreasonable and unrealistic. And if you believe that that is the answer, I believe that you are probably crossing into a conspiratorial mindset. I'm going to flip the script. If people are going to, I get called conspiracy theorist all day. I'm going to start flipping the script, Craig.
Go ahead. I'm just listening.
I'm just chatting. Hey, John, thanks again for the $2. Appreciate it.
This is good read is how to lie with statistics.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Our friend Bill Gates has read that book.
Nice. Cliff says, I'm in pharma distribution. I heard a customer say it best the other day. Say there was a new blood pressure medicine, not FDA approved, but we want to get you on it today. What do you say? Right. Mm-hmm. Probably the same thing. It's like, I think I'll wait. They'll wait till it's been approved. Travis says, I do think some of y'all's views are the same that are espoused by those people he mentioned. I didn't see who Tai mentioned in there. So I think it's easy for you to be lumped in there. But I also think we shouldn't label other people because people call me liberal and I'm a libertarian before anything else. Mm-hmm. There you go. Right. So,
yeah, I don't know. He probably mentioned Fox, and I do not watch Fox. So it's funny when people, that's the first go-to thing. You're a right-wing extremist. I hear it all the time. Who watches Fox, who's under mind control. And then I think, well, I think you're under mind control because you've been told by CNN or MSNBC, NCCC. We have this back and forth with each other that goes nowhere. So perhaps we should just stop the labeling altogether and have a conversation.
Who Can't Love Cats says, what would you want, though? To sue and get money or something? Well, is my life not worth anything? Yeah, right. Absolutely. If I die wrongfully because I put something in my body, right? Because of something, or let's just say I have a stroke that is due to something that's put in my body, regardless of if it's a vaccine or let's say I go to a hospital and there's some sort of malpractice that happens, right? You sue the hospital, right? That's what happens. So that's the thing is there's no one held accountable, and that's what I want. All I want is accountability. It seems like a pretty easy statement. So yeah, but whatever.
Well, like you can sue cigarette companies, and that's a choice. That's a choice to smoke every day and then, ruin your body if you smoke every day or whatever. You can still sue cigarette companies and say, well, your product made me addictive or whatever. Imagine not wanting to smoke and then not being able to sue a cigarette company. but being forced to smoke or something, that's kind of what it is. It's like, well, I didn't want this in the first place, but I was put into a position where I didn't want it, whether it's your job, that's the case for a lot of people. They're being put into this really rock and a hard place. Do I risk my job and not pay the bills, or do I just take the chance and get the thing? And what happens if you get the thing and then something terrible happens? Who's held accountable? Is your work? No, probably not. Is the government? No, probably not. Is the person that made it? No, probably not. There's no accountability for it. And so that's what I think you're asking,
Aiden, Tata mentioned by the way, this has been an interesting conversation to have. Aiden says, speaking of Holocaust, the Americans had suffered a genocide during World War I because of an ultra-nationalist group called the Young Turks that killed 1.5 million Armenians. Oh, he said Armenians, not Americans. Armenians. And today, Turkey denied their involvement, which is bullshit. If I talk about it in Turkey, they'll put me in jail. Not talking about it and not owning up to doing nothing about it is the equivalent of silence. Crazy. Yeah, and in there a news group called the Young Turks?
Yeah.
Why would they name themselves after that?
I don't know. I've never.
Is that that's a thing, right? That's a news group.
Yeah, that's a news group. They've been around for like 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're named after that?
I don't know. I don't watch them.
Holy crap. That seems really, really nuts. Golly, that's crazy. And Who Can't Love Cats, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that. Chaotic Mercury and Two Gun Jr. Also coming back as members over on YouTube. Thank you very much. I know you're not watching right now, but I appreciate it. Okay, I'll tell you what, man. Let's get into this chat. Well, by the way, guys, really appreciate the conversation. Like I said, whether you agree with how I think or how Brad thinks, it doesn't matter. Let's just talk about it. I had a friend who literally said they don't feel comfortable around me because we disagree in worldviews. And I said to him, what have I ever done, when we've been around each other, that has made you feel uncomfortable around worldviews? Mm-hmm. Nothing. They know me as people. And as Taita says, he says, you're good guys. You're good guys, but I just don't like your perspective. Okay. I mean, then you know who we are, right? So just because we don't have the same perspective doesn't mean we can't be buddies. Really? Is that what we're going to do here? Because that seems like the exact opposite. Literally the exact opposite of what should be happening.
Seems a little extreme, if you ask me. But look, Tai, I do want to say thanks for posting, because it gave us an opportunity to have this conversation. There's conversation happening in the chat, and that's the point. So, if you need to take a mental break, I totally get that. We're kind of talking about the fatigue on the last episode, and it's around us all day. If you got to take a break, take a break. It's not a big deal, but you're always welcome back. And look, you ignited a conversation for better or worse. I think for better. And that's the point. Don't just leave because you're uncomfortable or something. I mean, if you need the break, take the break. But I'm uncomfortable, I'm out. And we got to stop that.
It doesn't make sense. When people watch this show that just watch it for 5 minutes and go, oh, they're in their own little echo chamber. No, actually, we're punching through our own little echo chamber. We're inviting opposing viewpoints into our show. We want that. We don't, we very rarely point out a comment that agrees with us. More than anything else, we try to have conversations built around viewpoints that don't agree with us. That's the only way things progress. Conversation is incredibly important. Now, sometimes I get it. You don't want to have that conversation. I get it. You want to step away? Totally fine. But if you don't want to have the conversation just because you want to turn your head and go blah, 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 you need to grow up. I mean, and Tai, that's not directed at you. That's directed at everybody. Mm-hmm. Aiden says, yes, Craig, they're named after the group, and they have an Armenian with them, and they all denied it. Wow. Okay, so you're talking about that Young Turks group. That's interesting. Let's see. They call me Mr. Y says the best teacher with this discussion is history. Really, smallpox essentially was able to get eradicated because enough people got vaccinated, and then there was the polio vaccine. The key difference between what happened with the polio vaccine and COVID-19 vaccine is that it took 47 plus years to develop the polio vaccine. Vaccine development has improved much since the 50s, though. Right. But that was approved, right, by the FDA before it went out, right? And they call me Mr. Y says, and for history, the reason why the flu persists today is because vaccine tech like we have today didn't exist back in 1918 when the flu pandemic happened. So the flu got to mutate a ton over the years, and that's why it's still around today. It is what it is. Right. There you go.
All right. Maybe we should jump into this movie before we end up going another 2.5 hours tonight.
Right. Okay, so this is about. Go ahead.
The Wave is a made-for-TV movie. This is off Wikipedia, directed by Alex Grasshoff, based on the third wave experiment. Teacher Ron Jones to explain to his students how the German populace could accept the actions of the Nazi regime. It debuted October 4th, 1981, almost 2 years, and later as an NBC after-school special. So this is based on an actual experiment did in 1967 with his school. Let me see here.
Now, have you seen this?
I watched it a few weeks ago.
So you've actually seen this thing. I have not.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this outside of, the little video you made. So,
Right.
Crazy.
I just think, it's funny that this thing, the experiment happened in 1967. This movie was made in 1981. Here we are 40 years later, and it's still relevant. And we keep cycling. We have learned nothing, That's the most amazing thing about it, is we're still having the conversation.
All right, Aiden came in with another 100 bits. Thank you very much, Aiden. Says, one more thing. I got a concert ticket to see Sabaton performing at the Toyota Music Factory on this October 15th. I'll post the performance on my Snapchat. There you go, Aiden. Good stuff, man. Hopefully you enjoy it. And go follow Aiden over on Snapchat. That'd be great. Okay, let's get into this bad boy. I'm excited to check this thing out, man. Okay. This is The Wave. Now, this is like a metaphor for today, you think?
I think it's a metaphor for groupthink. It shows how people can get involved in groupthink and not realize that they're doing it, not realizing the harm that they're causing. So okay. I think that's the idea of the video. So
okay, well we'll give this a watch. It's about 45 minutes long. We'll stop and start it as we see fit and kind of go from there. But for the most part, we're just going to sit here and watch it. And I'll experience this for the first time. Brad's seen it before, so I'm excited to see what happens here. So once again, if you guys are new, if you guys are popping in over on YouTube, this podcast happens every Sunday night around 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. We go for about an hour or so. Tonight's going to go a little bit longer, but we always encourage your conversation, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. That's great. If you're watching over at twitch.tv/stutteringcraig, you can hit the follow button over there too. I play video games Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Generally the regular NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, because I'm old and I like old school video games. Let's get into it. It's time for the Wave. The Wave.
Woo! The Wave.
All right, off we go. Oh, listen to the heartbeat.
Yeah.
The Wave is based off the real experience of a high school class in Palo Alto, California in 1967. History teacher Ron Jones attempted to teach his pupils the realities of fascism. Oh, hold on. I didn't even get a chance to read it. Oh, the real story is based off a real experience of a high school. Okay. We're getting double doozy here.
Yes, I remember The Wave. It was one of the most frightening classroom experiences I ever had.
Oh, this must be thinking about it in the past.
It all started when we were studying Nazi Germany.
Remember desks?
People selected for extermination by the Nazis were herded into concentration camps located all over Eastern Europe. The life expectancy of prisoners in the camps was only 270 days. They were worked, starved, tortured. And
when they couldn't work anymore, they were exterminated in gas chambers, and their remains were disposed of in ovens. In all, the Nazis exterminated over 10 million men, women, and children in these concentration camps. What you just saw took place in Germany between 1934 and 1945. The situation
11 years.
grew out of the aftermath of World War I. Germany had been defeated. Leadership was at a low ebb. Inflation was high. And thousands were homeless, hungry, jobless. And Hitler took advantage of the situation to establish himself and his Third Reich. We all know the rest. The camps, killings. What resulted was the most efficient death machinery ever devised. Robert, please excuse us if we're boring you. Amy.
Were all Germans Nazis?
No. As a matter of fact, less than 10% of the German population belonged to the Nazi Party.
Then how
Wow.
come nobody tried to stop them?
They said they didn't know what was happening. Eric.
How could you kill 10 million people without somebody noticing?
Yeah, that can't be true.
Well, after the war, the Germans claimed they knew nothing of the concentration camps or the killing. Laurie?
Eric's right. How could the Germans sit back while the Nazis slaughtered people all around them and say that they didn't know anything about it? How could they do that? How could they say that?
Hey, how did you like? Do you remember do you have an experience in class where you were taught about like Nazi Germany and that? Because I had I think it was 6th or 7th grade in middle school where a teacher treated us like we were in the camps, and we had to hide under our desks, and she would go around like, or maybe we had to hide so we wouldn't get taken to the camps. And we were in our houses, and then she would turn off the lights all of a sudden because she would like knock on the door because we're out to the classroom, and then she'd be like, open up, whatever, and then we'd all hide under our desks, and she would like look under the desks for us and stuff. And if we got found, we'd be taken to the camp or whatever. And I remember that very vividly, and like that was like a really profound metaphor for me, about just everything that was going on, man.
Yeah, I didn't have any experience like that. We watched the movie Swing Kids in 6th grade. If you've ever seen that movie, it's a great movie about a group of kids that love swing dancing, and they join the Nazis and just to keep out of trouble or whatever. But one of them ends up joining and taking it seriously and actually becomes a Nazi and, threatens to report his friends and stuff. So it's kind of similar theme there.
Right. Let's keep on going.
That was a very good question, Laurie.
I thought I was hungry.
That film really got to you, huh?
Yeah, it upset me. Doesn't it make you angry?
Lori, it was a long time ago. We can't change what happened.
I know. Still upsets me, though.
Hi, guys. Is it okay if we park, or is this table for leather zone?
What a perspective. We can't change what happened. Because these days it seems like there's a lot of people trying to change what happened.
Right.
We're gonna win the big game on Friday, huh?
We better. Coach has been working our tails off. We'll kill him.
Would you forget about football? How about going to a dance? My church is having one tonight.
Sounds great, Amy, but David and I have to study.
If you two don't stop acting like hermits, you're gonna end up like Robert over there.
Hi.
Hi, darling. What's up?
I missed you at the faculty meeting.
What time is it?
Oh, it's okay. I covered for you.
Thanks.
Could the swastika be shown on TV nowadays?
Nowadays, no, I don't think
Yeah.
so. No,
Like-
'cause
like
it'd be-
it's-
immediately it would be offensive. You know, it'd be too offensive.
Right. Like that's crazy. Health Nuts comes in and says, wow, just wow. I'm so impressed you guys are doing this. My great aunt died with a tattoo given to her by a German camp. She only showed people when she had a shot and a beer. As a kid, it was confusing. Wow, that's crazy, Health Nuts. Thank you for your story. Appreciate that. Wow. I love you.
What are you reading that's so fascinating here?
Some terrific stuff here. Look.
Rise and Fall of the Third Reich? Hitler? What, are you cramming for a degree in dictatorship?
Yeah, well, one of my students asked me a question I couldn't answer today.
Oh, welcome to the club.
All right.
Oh, it's bothering him too. The zoom in. This was an after-school special.
Right.
Just keep that in mind. It's designed for 8 to 15-year-old kids. Oh, the old kick me sign, huh?
Clearly the outcast of the classroom.
Yes. Wish I knew what he was writing on there.
Today I'm going to talk to you about discipline. Oh, wait, now hear me out. Now, this can be exciting. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Now, I'm talking to you about power. Power through discipline. Success? Success through discipline. Nobody here wants a taste of power and success? Okay. Here we go. David, Eric, you play football? You know it takes discipline to win. What about ballet dancers? Andrea? You know it takes long, hard hours of work for them to develop their skill. Same goes with painters, working at their craft, scientists. It is all discipline, control, the strength of the will. Well, there's something we can do to experience power through discipline right now. Shall we try? It begins with posture. Amy, come forward, please.
Aiden with 100 bits says, I remember that I told my brother that if I'd owned a real Car 98 bolt-action rifle from World War II, I was planning to remove the swastika on the rifle. But my brother told me if I did that, I would be removing a piece of history. He took his words in my mind, yeah. Thank you, Aiden.
First, put your feet flat on the floor.
This history that I come to see by mistake.
Now, place your hands flat across the small of your back and force your spine straight up. Can't you breathe more easily? Relax.
Yeah.
Now resume the proper position.
You try this
Relax.
at home.
Again. Everybody look how Robert's legs are parallel. His ankles locked. His knees bent at 90 degrees. See how straight his spine is. Chin back, head forward. Very good, Robert. Now, I want you all to get up and walk about the room. And when I give the command, I want you to return to your seats as quickly as possible and assume the proper seating posture. Come on. Up, 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 up.
It's interesting to see what he's doing.
Take your seat.
No.
What did he say? No?
Now, let's try it again.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, the quieter and more controlled you are, the quicker you'll be able to reach your seats properly.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. Half the time.
Wow. He's just totally manipulating them. This is outstanding.
Now, there are 3 more rules which you must obey. 1, everybody must have pencils and note paper for note-taking. 2, when asking or answering a question, you must stand at the side of your seats. And 3, the first words when answering or asking a question are Mr. Ross. Right? Brad, who was the British Prime Minister before Winston Churchill?
Wasn't it the...
You weren't listening. Remember? Discipline. Robert, show Brad the proper
Interesting.
procedure for asking a question.
Mr. Ross.
That's correct. Thank you, Robert. Again, Brad?
Mr. Ross, wasn't it the Prime
Wow.
Minister?
No, too slow. Much too slow. From now on, your answers are to be as short as possible. Now sit down and try it again.
Mr. Ross, Chamberlain.
Now that's the way to answer a question. Punctual, precise.
Man,
What country
I'm
did
uncomfortable
Hitler invade
watching
in
this right
September
now.
of 1939. Andrea.
Mr. Ross, I don't know.
Still a good response, Andrea. Amy.
Mr. Ross, Poland.
Excellent. What was the name of Hitler's political party?
Mr. Ross, the Nazis.
Good, Brian. Very quick. That was the short name. What was the official name? Laurie.
The National Social...
Sit down and do it again.
Oh, wow. What are you doing?
Mr. Ross, the National Socialist German Workers' Party.
Correct. Peter, who proposed the Lend-Lease Act?
Mr. Ross, Roosevelt.
Right. Who died in the death camps? Mr. Ross. Jews, gypsies, and homosexuals. Who ran the death camps?
Mr. Ross, the SS.
Excellent.
Golden Child gives me Cobra Kai vibes for
Tomorrow's
sure.
assignment is on the board. Class dismissed.
That's
Man, what a rush, huh? Too bad all my classes aren't like that.
Sure beats taking notes.
took 45 minutes to change them.
anybody can get this class
They like it.
like that is ingenious.
Right.
Did you ever see anything like that? I was really getting into it. I believe it lunch.
Fantastic.
Brad, you're frozen down in the corner. Look at you.
Yeah, I noticed that. Looks like I'm watching very intently, but my computer seems to be frozen.
Yes. Huh, there we go. Straighten on up.
He likes it.
Yes.
There you go. Isn't that fantastic?
I can't believe how quickly they accepted that new behavior code. I mean, everyone did it immediately. It was eerie.
Honey, they reacted that way because they were playing a game.
I don't think so.
Well, how else would you explain it?
I don't know. It's as if they wanted to be disciplined.
So, are you going on with it tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I've got the whole Japanese campaign tomorrow.
Wow. I bet they're into it. Yep. Ready to go.
Look how creepy that is.
Yes, bizarre. Wow. Oh, there goes Brad.
No, I'm trying
There
to
we
come
go.
back.
Okay.
Look at you.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just sitting
What
up.
are you feeling?
Just watching.
Well, discipline is one thing. But there's something more.
What's fascinating about this is that he was like, nah, I'm just going to move on. And then he saw them being manipulated coming in. And he's like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know? Wow.
It's community.
Okay.
Now, community is that bond between people who work and struggle together. It's building a barn with your neighbors. It's feeling that you're a part of something that's more important than yourself. A movement, a team, a cause. And like discipline, to fully understand community, you have to experience it and participate in it. Now, everyone, repeat our two mottos. Strength through discipline, strength through community. Now,
Man, what strength through discipline, strength through community. Wow. A different perspective. Civil commentary says, I don't see how this is this video is a good comparison to the pandemic. We're able to reference other nations. Israel is preparing for another lockdown next month. Are you comparing them to Nazis? No one's comparing anything to anything right now at all. I don't think so. But Brad, you go ahead and give real quick your thoughts on why you wanted to watch this.
Look, I think this movie is just a good example of how groupthink comes together. You know, I think it's relevant because we've spent the last 5 years saying this is like the Nazis, this is like the Nazis, this is dictatorship, this is fascism. And it seems like there's a lot of things happening right now that people recognize as fascism, dictatorship, and people are kind of going along with it. I mean, if you look at everything, if you look at what's happened over the last year, we went from 15 days to slow the spread. Everybody in the entire country or world needs to get a vaccine, whether they like it or not. That's how it's connected. How did we get this far? Well, strength through discipline, right? So I don't know. I live in Israel. I don't live there. Ask them what they think.
we need a symbol for our new community.
Oh, wow.
Something for members of this class only.
Wow.
A wave is a pattern of change. It has movement, direction, and impact. And from now on, we will be known as the wave. And this will be our salute.
What's up? Oh man, you got a salute.
Robert, what is our motto?
Looks like a way.
Mr. Ross, strength through discipline, strength through community.
Very good, Robert. Remain standing, please. Now, Peter, Amy, Eric.
Strength through discipline, strength through community.
Now, Brian, Andrea, Laurie, join them and repeat.
Strength through discipline, strength through community.
Louder.
Strength through discipline, strength through community. Strength through discipline, strength through community.
So once again, I'd like to reiterate, this is based off a real experience in 1967.
They're the teachers getting into it.
It was incredible. Everybody was saluting and repeating the motto. You couldn't help but get caught up in it.
Ooh.
You know, really wanting to make it work.
But I don't like it, Laurie.
GK, I think you're right.
It sounds too much like brainwashing and mob psychology to me.
No, Mom, it's nothing like that. Honest, you just have to be there to feel the positive energy in class to really get what's going on.
I am for whatever will make kids pay attention to anything these days.
And that's really what it's doing. Even Robert Watkins, you know, the class creep, he's even a part of the group now.
But you're supposed to be learning history, not how to be part of a group.
This country was built by people who were part of a group, the Pilgrims, founding fathers.
Yes, but it owes its greatness to those people who weren't afraid to be individuals.
Stop worrying, Mom. Mr. Ross has just found a really great way to get everybody to learn something. Even the slow kids are keeping up.
All right, that's all very well and good for the slow kids. But it just doesn't sound like the right thing for you, Laurie. Sweetheart, we have raised you to be an individual.
Madge, don't you think you're taking all this a little too seriously? Maybe a bit of community spirit. It's terrific for those kids.
That's right, Mom. Haven't you always said I was a little bit too independent?
But, honey, just remember that the popular thing is not always the right thing.
Mom, you don't understand.
I am sure that Laurie's history teacher knows exactly what he's doing. Besides, as long as the other parents aren't raising any objection, why should we make a fuss?
Because it is dangerous to allow a teacher to manipulate students like that. We've always taught Laurie to think for herself.
And a few days' experiment by a history teacher isn't going to change that.
Mom, Mr. Ross is one of my best teachers. He knows what he's doing.
Where's David tonight? Isn't he coming over?
No, he's at home studying for tomorrow's history assignment.
David?
Dun, dun,
Studying?
dun.
Now
Studying.
there's something to worry about.
Now,
Real quick,
isn't that
before we can-
conversation? Okay, go ahead.
I say, they call me Mr. Wise says, remember, this was 1967, and the film exaggerates what actually happened to some extent. The film speeds up how the students adapted the wave because of a 45-minute movie. Yeah, I totally understand that, right? But I think, the film is a metaphor for what actually happened. It's to say that the kids actually did embrace this. And the idea of saying, well, it was 1967. That's like saying, well, it is 2021. And the idea of pushing out information today is much easier than it was in 1967. I would actually say the ability to, the virality of something and the ability to get people to feel like they belong to something is way easier now than it was in 1967. But that's just my take on it. So
When
what
I
were you gonna say,
watched
Brandon?
this, when I watched this for the first time, that conversation at the dinner table just now was when it really started getting interesting to me because, or when I felt like, oh, that's the conversation most people are having right now. Like, oh, you don't understand. You just have to listen to the experts. This person's a professional. Well, I don't know. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't make it the right thing. It's okay to be independent minded. Like, that's the conversation that's happening right now all across the world. So
Now,
there
apparently
are parallels there.
So apparently there's a website for this, which has been pointed out in the chat real fast, which it's thewavehome.com, which I guess provides you with a bunch of resources about this. So the tagline on thewavehome.com is simply be careful who you follow. So anyways, all right.
And class experiment goes now for a certain group of people. Wave on there said this is for people in our club only. Have we had that? Are we dividing people up with certain symbols? It seems like it.
Right. Travis says, Mr. B started a little cult by giving away some money and saying he loves PewDiePie. right. Like it's Mr. Beast is, yeah, for sure. By the way, Stella Live came in with a resub, tier 1 for 6 months. It's such an important lesson, especially for the time we're living in too. Too many easily manipulated through following authority and mob mentality. I appreciate the both of you. Thank you, Stella Live. Greatly appreciate that.
Calling Dr. Frankenstein, have they turned on you yet?
Now, quite the contrary. Most of them are actually turning into human beings.
You don't say.
And you wouldn't believe the homework assignments. They do what I give them, and then they do more. They're asking all kinds of questions.
These can't be some of the same kids I have for music.
It's amazing how much more they like you when you make decisions for them.
How far can you push this?
I don't know, but I intend to find out.
Why don't you sit down? Your egg foo young's gonna get cold.
You know, the funny thing is, I feel myself getting caught up in it. It's contagious.
Becoming a guinea pig in your own experiment, huh?
What do you care what your mom says?
I didn't say I agreed with her.
Well, you didn't say you disagreed with her either.
Listen, I was just telling you what she said.
How does she know? She can't possibly understand what the wave's about unless she's been here to see it work. Parents always think they know everything. Hey!
Who is that?
I don't know. He's not in our history class.
Getting bigger.
Uh-oh, it's growing.
Now, you all have membership cards.
Oh,
If you turn them
cards.
over, you will find that some of them have been marked with a red X. You got a red X, you are to be monitors and will report directly to me any members who don't obey our rules. Discipline and community are meaningless without action. Now, discipline gives you the right to action. A disciplined group with a goal can take action like a well-oiled machine. Now, through hard work and allegiance to each other, you will learn faster and accomplish more. But only if you support one another, and only if you work together and obey the rules, can you ensure the success of the wave. Now, you are all to actively recruit new members. Each new member must demonstrate knowledge of our rules and pledge strict obedience to them.
Mr. Ross, for the first time, I feel like I'm part of something great.
That's crazy. And I know this is just like a movie and all, but man.
It's happening out there. Now, we have something interesting happening in the chat right now with R.W. Halt saying, exactly, be careful who to follow. It could lead to the end of the pandemic or, you know, further waves. So it sounds like R.W. Halt is thinking that the wave people in society right now are the ones that are not following the leaders, that are the independent minds, it sounds like. Because I know how I'm interpreting this story. But I see that this is the interesting thing about society right now, is that we can watch the exact same thing and think of two different realities, right? So that's what I think is interesting. Feel free to elaborate, R.W. Hall.
David Assad says, when they teach us in college about the contents of a vaccine and its functions, do you believe this is an attempt to bring students into the mob mentality? I think are you speaking of like the vaccine today or just a vaccine? Because like when you speak of like vaccines that have been cleared, you know, through the FDA and things like that, I mean, generally, you know, what's in them, right? So, you know, man, it's crazy.
Mr. Ross, this is like being born again.
Mr. Ross, I feel the same way.
Mr. Ross, I'm proud of the wave.
Strength through discipline. Strength through community. Strength through action.
This guy certainly plays a great dictator. Yeah.
Community. Strength through action. Strength through discipline. Strength through community. Strength through action. Strength through discipline. Strength through community. Strength through action. Strength through discipline. Strength through
Look at him. The guy looks so mad. He's going to punch through a wall.
Strength through discipline. Strength through community. Strength through action.
Ah.
Look at
I'm
that.
not going.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
Laura, this is a very important meeting. All the new members are going to be there.
So what? David, don't you think you're taking this whole thing a little bit too seriously?
No, I'm not. You're not taking it seriously enough. Look, Laura, you've always been a leader. The other kids, they've always looked up to you. You've got to be at that meeting.
That's exactly why I'm not going. Let them make up their own minds about the wave. They're individuals.
I don't understand.
I can't believe how crazy everybody's gotten. David, the wave is taking over everything.
Sure, because the wave makes sense, Laurie. It works. Everybody's on the same team. Everybody's equal.
Oh, that's terrific. Do we all score a touchdown?
You know, you're just against this thing because you're not special anymore. Because you're not the best student in the class now.
That's not true, and you know it.
I think it is true. Now you know how the rest of us felt listening to you and Amy always giving the right answers.
David, you're being stupid.
Uh-oh.
I'm so stupid. Why don't you go find yourself a smart boyfriend?
Oof. They just
Look
broke
at that.
up.
Different beliefs got in the way of a relationship. Can you believe that?
Oh man, that's nuts. Like family, man.
You're
Woo.
not with us anymore.
Wow. This is like, it's legitimately eerie. Legitimately eerie watching this. This is terrifying. Like, if you just go back and you listen to the things that he said, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Every single thing that he said, literally almost word for word verbatim has been said on Twitter in the last 20 minutes. Like it's wow. I want to go, like, seriously, go back and we're going to listen to what he has to say here once again. I feel like it's important to go back and listen to exactly what he says and then put it into context of what is happening today.
I'm not going.
Why not?
Just listen.
Because I don't want to.
Laura, this is a very important meeting. All the new members are going to be there.
So what? David, don't you think you're taking this whole thing a little bit too seriously?
Once again, everything he's about to say said on social media in the last 20 minutes.
No, I'm not. You're not taking it seriously enough. Look, Laura, you've always been a leader. The other kids, they've always looked up to you. You've got to be at that meeting.
That's exactly why I'm not going. Let them make up their own minds about the wave. They're individuals.
I don't understand.
I can't believe how crazy everybody's gotten.
This is so crazy.
I can't believe how everybody's...
Oh my gosh.
Just replace the word "the wave" with "you choose." You choose.
Pick any sort of political topic at all right now. It's crazy. Wow. Oh my gosh. They call me Mr. Wise. Says, bear in mind the teacher that started the wave to answer the students' disbelief that people would have allowed the Holocaust to happen. Right.
Wave is taking over everything.
Sure, because the wave makes sense, Laurie. It works. Everybody's on the same team. Everybody's equal.
Oh, that's terrific. Do we all score a touchdown?
You know, you're just against this thing because you're not special anymore. Because you're not the best student in the class now.
That's not true, and you know it.
I think it is true. Now you know how the rest of us felt listening to you and Amy always giving the right answers.
David, you're being stupid.
All right. If I'm so stupid, why don't you go find yourself a smart boyfriend?
Jeez.
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
See, he doesn't care about their relationship, what she's done, how many times she's told him I love you or whatever, any kind of nice thing she's done. He doesn't care about any of that. She's questioning the wave. So they're done.
Gears Golf says, this is insane. I used to play a game of college called Humans vs. Zombies. It was on paper a game of tag with Nerf guns. Dude had some deep social commentary. There are really people who fed into the one of us mob mentality, who reject individuality, success, and growth instead of the power and numbers, hive mind shit. People are nuts. Man. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Taking over the school.
Here's a pamphlet, learn all about the wave. There you go.
Learn all about the wave.
It's almost like they're going door to door to students.
Just following them around. Oh my gosh, how bizarre. Listen to
What are
this.
you doing? Mr. Ross, I'm your bodyguard. You're my what? I want to be your bodyguard. See, Mr. Ross, for the first time in my life, I feel... Well, nobody makes jokes about me anymore.
Wow.
I'm part of something special. I just don't want anything to ever happen to you. Mr. Ross, please let me be your bodyguard.
Like, he's literally begging him.
Yeah.
Because this guy made this thing up off a whim, you know?
Yeah. I feel special now. I don't want anything to happen to it.
Or you.
Yeah.
Strength through community. Strength through action.
Fights over the wave?
Can't have that.
Amy. Amy, read this article that I wrote.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm submitting it to the school paper.
You can't say these things about the wave.
Well, why not? They're true. Amy, the wave has become an obsession with everyone. No one's thinking for themselves anymore.
Come on, you're just upset. You're letting your argument with David get to you.
But the wave is hurting people. Everyone's going along with it like a flock of sheep.
Lori, please don't submit this.
I already have. I know what I have to do.
I gotta go.
You can't say these things about the wave. You can't put those in a newspaper.
Mr. Ross, can I follow you home? Oh, thank you, Robert. That won't be necessary. You have homework.
Like, at a certain point, doesn't the teacher just kind of laugh? Like, as he's driving off, he's like,
School's
"Man."
over, buddy. Go
Yeah.
home.
I love you.
Honey,
Hi, honey. How's your cult?
I need to talk to you for a moment.
Can it wait? I gotta finish this before class tomorrow.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about. This wave thing. It's just becoming too disruptive. You've got to put an end to it. Half of my class has been skipping just to go to yours. I mean, you've disrupted the entire school. And it isn't just me. All the teachers are complaining.
Well, they just don't know what I'm trying to do.
Did you know that the school counselors have been questioning every student in your class? I mean, even the principal's concerned about this now.
Well, don't you think I know that? I know what they're saying about me, that I'm crazy with power, that I'm on an ego trip.
Have you thought they may be right? I mean, think of your original goals here. Are they the same ones you have now?
I thought you were on my side.
I am on your side, but I have seen you these last few days, and I don't even know you. You have become so involved in playing this role at school that you started slipping into it at home. Honey, just turn it off.
Not yet.
When? After you or some of these kids do something you'll all regret?
Well, I can't stop now. They'd be left hanging. They'd be confused. They wouldn't have learned a thing.
Well, let them be confused.
No, I can't do that. Now, I'm a teacher. I have responsibilities to them. I have to push them until they get the point. I'm teaching these kids the most important lesson of their lives.
Well, I hope the principal agrees with you because he just called and he wants to see you right after class tomorrow.
Ooh, authority. Oh man, this is getting good.
Yeah,
He's buying into his nonsense too. The wave drowns.
These are all lies. You can't be allowed to say these things. It's not important. Nobody cares what Lori's writing or what she has to say. But anybody who reads this will get the wrong idea about the wave.
And this is the second article she's written.
Relax. There's always going to be people who won't believe in what we're trying to do.
But if we don't watch out, those people are going to ruin it for the rest of us.
Lori Saunders is a threat. She must be stopped.
So, is she allowed to say these things about the wave? What do you think in the chat? Should she be stopped? I want to know.
Real quick, RW Halt says, "Hey Brad, you're exactly right. We know what's in the vaccine. It's been a Google search away since January. A lot of anti-vax sentiment comes from small groups of people and is being parroted by those who don't know better. We are free to come to completely wrong conclusions when it comes to how to treat a viral outbreak. I don't know how many times I've said it. Just don't just stop asking. Don't just stop at asking the questions. Get the answers."
Okay.
Worry. David and I'll take care of it.
Oh man. Gordon Grapevine. Appreciate you guys popping in tonight. This has been pretty amazing. We got about probably, oh man,
Look at that. Intimidation?
about 17 minutes away from the end here.
Now, how many people would you call her anti-wave?
No, of course not. No.
Some people might call her anti-wave.
No. Would I? No. They clearly see her as anti-wave.
Right. And now they're intimidating her, right? Now, pause it for a minute. How many doctors over the last year have tried to publish other alternative information?
Uh-oh, look at you.
And have been what? Uh-oh. Oh, gee. My camera's like dying off tonight. How many doctors have we had this year trying to publish certain information? They've been stopped. They've been called what? I don't know. And been intimidated. I follow some of those people who have had death threats. They're called an enemy. There's a lot of parallels here. I'm just sprinkling it over it.
Like, I think really honestly, like if you're watching this and you can't see the parallels,
yeah,
like like you just go like, I can't help you. You're probably too far into the wave.
Yeah. Or they think you're too far into the wave.
Right.
I mean, this has gone outside of school now.
Oh yeah.
Hey, here she comes.
Let me take care of this, okay?
This is her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend.
That's how important this is. We're not playing around with games anymore, you know?
Hey, Laura, can you wait up? I gotta talk to you. It's real important.
What's she doing at school at night, by the way? Just one.
It's okay. Nobody else is coming.
Well, I'm not used to seeing you by yourself anymore. Where are your troops?
Look, Lori, will you just listen to me for a minute, please?
David, we said everything that we had to say to each other the other day. Now, I don't want to rehash it, so just leave me alone.
Lori, you gotta stop writing that stuff against the wave. You're causing all kinds of problems.
The wave is causing the problems, David.
It is not. Look, Lori, we want you with us, not against us.
Well, count me out. I told you I quit. This is not a game anymore. People are beginning to get hurt.
All right, so a few people are getting hurt along the way. But it's for the good of the whole. Why can't you see that? Look, it's a new system. We can make it work.
Not with me, you can't. Let go of me.
Look, Lori, you've got to stop.
David, let go of my arm!
Lori, stop writing those articles and keep your mouth shut about the wave.
I will write, and I will say anything that I want to, and you can't stop me!
We can and we will.
I hate you! I hate the wave! I hate all of you!
Shut up!
Oh my God. Travis coming in. Slap her around. Whoa. Travis, you just relax. You're canceled. Dun dun dun.
Man. Now he's sorry. The van knows it.
Oh. I'm sorry. The wave pushed him too far. Mad Hatter resub Prime for 8 months.
Oh, come in.
Thank you so much, Mad Hatter.
Sit down.
I'm sorry, baby. Give me a smoochie.
Can I get you something?
No, thanks.
Oh my God.
Mr. Ross, you've got to help us. What's wrong? It's the wave.
Mr. Ross, we know how important this is to you. It is to all of us. But it's just gone too far.
It's taken over, Mr. Ross. There's no room to be yourself or say what you really believe.
And all the kids in school are scared. They're really scared. Not only to say anything against the wave, but what might happen to them if they don't go along with it.
kids are actually spying on each other. Some of them are even using the wave as an excuse to beat up on other kids.
What?
Yes, the principal told me about that this afternoon.
Well, it's true. You can't even carry on a conversation without worrying about who's listening to you. We're really scared, Mr. Ross.
Social
Laurie and
media.
I haven't talked for days because of the wave. And tonight, I lost control and almost hurt her.
You've got to stop this nightmare.
You're right. And I will.
What are you gonna do, Mr. Ross?
Well, I'll take care of it tomorrow. I have to do it my way.
Look at how happy they are. Everyone's so happy in the wave. Sit down and shut your mouth. This is the wave.
Mr. Ross, can I show you something?
Yes, Robert, what is it?
Mr. Ross, what does it mean? It's a secret code, isn't it?
Secret code.
What's that say?
It says something like the wave is coming, I think it said.
I would like to remind everybody that not everything was high definition. It says
Right.
the wave is upon the wave is upon us.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The wave is upon us.
There you go.
This is on YouTube, right?
Yes.
This video?
Just type in the wave 1981. You'll get it.
Class, there's something very important I have to tell you about the wave. At 5 o'clock, there will be a rally in the auditorium for wave members only. Now, the wave is not just a classroom experiment. No. It's much more than that. Across the country, teachers like myself have been recruiting and training a youth brigade to show the rest of the nation how to achieve a better society through discipline, community, action, and pride. Now look what we've accomplished in 2 short weeks in this school alone.
Yes.
VHS
Tracking.
glitch for the
If we
win.
could change things here, we could change things everywhere. In factories, stores, universities, all the institutions.
Mr. Ross. Mr. Ross.
Sit down, David.
But Mr. Ross, you said...
David, please, I said sit down. Now listen carefully. During the rally, a prominent political figure will reveal himself to all of you as our national leader. He will appear on television, and he will announce the formation of a nationwide Wave Youth program.
They're stoked.
Wait! Don't listen to him! Don't listen to him! He's lying!
Can't you see what he's doing? Can't any of you think for yourselves anymore?
Robert, Eric, Brian, please escort these 2 out of the room and see that they stay out.
Hey, please listen to me!
They're lying! Don't listen to him! He's lying!
Okay.
Now, I want every single member of the Wave to attend the rally. Each member of this class is personally responsible for a record turnout.
Oh man.
Everybody wear blue shirts.
Bring banners and signs.
On the rocks. Can't you see we're all almost 30 in high
Mr.
school?
Ross, we can do it.
Good. And make sure that no one but loyal Wave members are allowed in.
Guy- Guys, we are
I
9
really
minutes
couldn't
away
believe
from the
it when
grand
my mother
finale.
told me that Mr. Ross called the house. He wants to talk to us.
I know. He tried to reach me, too, but I've had about all the talking I can take from him.
David, is it possible that I was wrong?
No. No, Lori, you were right. We were both right.
Why doesn't anybody else see it?
I don't know. Like they're all in a trance or something. Just won't listen anymore.
No, it's
They've
you.
got to listen. David, we've got to make them listen.
I know. The only thing I can think of is to try to speak at that rally.
It's worth a try.
Come on.
We have to take the teacher out.
Oh boy, armbands.
Uh-oh. They're so prideful.
Aren't they just proud of what they're doing right now?
Yeah.
While
For the
also ousting anybody who opposes their view?
auditorium's full. Close the doors. Doors in place? Okay, let's check all the doors. Make sure they're all locked.
No one but Wave members here.
Yeah. Mr. Ross does look like the judge from Night Court.
Mr. Ross, all the doors are secure and the guards are in
Yes.
place. Thank you, Robert.
Uh-oh.
In a moment, our national leader will address us. Robert,
Mr. Ross, yes.
turn on the television set.
This is so crazy, man. This is nuts!
Robert will make a good leader one day.
Oh, man. They got synced. I'd just like to point out, no high school in 1980 or 1967, number one, has those TVs, right? Number two, can sync those TVs so easily. I'm just going to point that out. Probably not the best time to give tech advice. And then the
But I think that the movie takes place in the 80s as a...
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Got it.
Here we go.
We'll get technical.
Here we go. This is the leader. They're all waiting. Apparently there's a 2008 German version of this. Intriguing.
Check that out. I wonder if the music's actually playing in the auditorium.
Only fake answers in the chat for who's the national leader. Only fake answers in the chat. This is near the conclusion, guys. We're almost there. So tense.
But how could these people be wrong? Everybody's in on it.
There is no leader, is there?
Well, yes, there is. There's your leader.
Wird mehr gefordert als von den Millionen der übrigen Volksgenossen. Für sie genügt nicht die bloße Ablegung des Bekenntnisses, ich glaube, sondern der Spur, ich setze.
Now listen carefully. There is no national youth movement.
Oof.
You thought you were so special. Better than everyone outside this room. You traded your freedom for the luxury of feeling superior. You accepted the group's will over your own convictions, no matter who you hurt. Oh, you thought you were just going along for the ride, that you could walk away at any moment. But where were you heading? How far would you have gone? Take a look at your future.
Das Gebot ihres Herzens nicht hergerufen hat, als das Gebot ihrer Freude.
Yes, you would have all made good Nazis.
Oh, God.
You would have put on the uniforms, turned your heads, and allowed your friends and neighbors to be persecuted and destroyed. Fascism isn't something those other people did. It's right here, in all of us. You ask, how could the German people do nothing as millions of innocent human beings were murdered? How could they claim they weren't involved? What causes people to deny their own history? Well, if history repeats itself, you'll all want to deny what has happened to you in the wave. But if our experiment is successful, you will have learned that we are all responsible for our own actions, and that you must question what you do rather than blindly follow a leader, and that for the rest of your lives, you will never allow a group's will to usurp your individual rights. Now, I know this has been painful for you. It certainly has for me. But it's a lesson we'll all share for the rest of our lives.
Oh, man, they're all just like, God. F's in the chat for these idiots. Please. Oh, man.
Now they have to go think about what they've done.
Yeah, congratulations. You killed 10 million people.
This moment is coming soon.
And it, like, any of them will ever trust him again. They'll,
Right.
they'll either like trust him and think he's the greatest teacher in history, or you know, never trust him again. Yeah.
They walk in tomorrow
There
and
you
they're
go.
like,
Travis said there should be about 5 of them who say he was lying and the wave is still really a thing.
right, that's true, that's true.
Right. Split her dick. Big a lot of rocks. Oh no. Poor O'Doyle.
What have I done? O'Doyle does not roll.
You can't touch him like that, sir.
No.
Story based on a real high school experience, class of Palo Alto, California in April of 1967. Wow. That was quite the watch. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of commentary to add to that, because what do you add to that? That may be the most important after-school special in history.
You know, like I said, 40 years later after it was made, we're still watching it going, ooh, getting a little close to that now. Now, the interesting thing is, I know we got people in the chat. I'm going to say, I don't know, we'll just do 50-50. 50 of you probably watched that and took away one specific message. The other half took away the exact same message, but are putting it into a different bucket. And what I'm seeing here is let's see. A different perspective says, who wears matching uniforms and goes to rallies? Well, I don't know. Do people wear matching uniforms right now and go to rallies? I know that there's a lot of people that are, you know, the symbolism I took from there was not really uniforms. It was these little things everybody is wearing when they go to gatherings. I don't want to say it. I want you to think. But
Hold on, real quick. This is the ending. Let's see. Let's see. This is the. I'm looking for the wave, the ending, real quick, because this is apparently. Well, I'm trying to find it on YouTube because apparently it's the German version of the wave. But apparently the ending is different. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew, man.
So we have, look, I'll just come right out and say it. Look, some of you are going to watch this and think, oh, the wave is the Trump people. Some of you are going to watch this and you're going to say, oh, the wave are the vaccinated people. Or you're going to watch this and say the wave is the anti-vax people. And, you know, I really want you to think about what you just watched. I really do. I'm not going to make up your mind for you. That's not what I'm here for. I just want you to really think about what you watched and maybe watch it again.
That was intense.
Wasn't it intense?
Yeah.
Now, they would not make that today.
No.
The difference between now and then is that we don't have after-school specials to teach us anything. Anyway. Well, so that was it.
Snake Loan says the wave is mankind messed up. It's kind of what we're seeing right now, man. It's crazy times.
Yeah, who do you
Yeah,
think the wave is? That's what I want to see in the chat and in the comments tonight.
Yeah, and once again, there is no wrong answer. Like, we encourage all points of view here. So there is no wrong answer. Please tell us who you think the wave is. And if someone disagrees with you, have a conversation. That's the whole point of this, right? The whole point is to hear other people's perspective, not to push other people's perspectives away. Be very clear about that. So, yeah, I need to know how the German the new German ends. Okay, here you go. R.W. Hall says, Brad, that's like arguing astronauts are a cult because they wear helmets during spacewalk. There's an element of science here, not just political philosophy. I guess he's talking about your masks.
Okay, let's take away masks. Let's go with vaccine cards and passports. How about that?
It's interesting.
Which people are being removed for speaking their minds on the internet? You know, who are being chastised and ridiculed on the internet? Is it the people in the wave or the people not in the wave?
I'm looking for the ending real quick. Looking for the ending. I will find this. Hold on, because I need to find.
Does the mask make you feel special? You know, because you can argue like, oh yeah, the mask is necessary, just like a spaceman's helmet is necessary. But guess what? When people were told to take off the mask and it was okay, they still chose to wear it because it made them what? Feel better. It wasn't about science. It wasn't about necessity. It was about feeling.
All right, I think I have the ending here. I have the ending, but it's in
2008 remake changes what Robert does in the end.
Boy. Okay, hold on. So here's the ending really fast. So I guess now the long and short, I don't know what he's saying, but he's saying like, yeah, you're fascist. This kid comes in, can't accept it, I guess.
Look at them, they're all, oh, geez, he's got a gun?
Yeah, he can't accept it. Oh, Jesus, that's his bodyguard. No!
Oh, shoot. It's a way... Camera again. What have I done? Yeah.
Oh, boy. I bet he turns it on himself.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert. All right.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, he does. Okay, just there's the quick thumbnail right there. There it is right there.
Ugh.
He turns it on himself. Congratulations, teacher, you did that. So anyways,
Travis Key says, well, I don't think you can compare the mask to an armband until people start using it as a symbol. But that's the thing. They are now using it as a symbol, because when they're told to take it off, they're still using it as a symbol to let people know, number one, you've seen it. I'm still going to wear it because I don't want people to know that I don't want people to think that I'm a conservative. That's symbolism. I'm still going to wear it because I want people to know that I care about them. I'm still going to wear it because it makes me feel X, Y, and Z. That's symbolism.
oh man, interesting. Wow, how intense, intense. Golden Child says you should watch How to Become a Tyrant on Netflix. It has similar tactics and strategies to gain power over the many. Interesting. Wow.
Well,
oh man,
what would you give this movie, Craig? Out of 5 stars.
A must watch.
Yeah.
The Bear Jew, my man, coming in says, I choose to keep a mask in my pocket just to respect rules of the house. I figured I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Right. Like I said, private businesses and stuff, whatever. I totally get it, but I don't know. I think when it comes to masks, I mean, there's plenty of science out there saying, and once again, we talked about this really early, probably about an hour and 50 minutes ago, the idea of being able to manipulate data however you want to manipulate it, right? People talk about, the science, right? Well, people say the science of the mass will slow the spread, right? Flatten the curve. And sure, if you're wearing the what is it, M95 or M98 or whatever it is mask, yes, if you're wearing those masks, sure. But the cloth masks, they're very, it's been scientifically shown that they don't do a whole lot, so.
Yeah, I mean, like that was kind of look at how many times Dr. Fauci has flip-flopped that. Now, I don't want to get into the big old mask debate. That's a whole other episode. That's we've done it. We've talked about it. A different perspective says people were taking off the mask, taking the mask off until the variant came, Brad. Maybe some people did, but it seemed like the general consensus was we're just going to leave it on because it's a kind of acting a safety blanket more. I'm going to keep it on because just what I just said. I don't want people to think I'm this. I don't want people to. It makes me feel better. It makes me think that same things I just said.
Right. Well, as was asked earlier, if everybody gets vaccinated, how long will we have the disease, right? And it goes back to, sure, are 7.9 billion people going to get a vaccination? No. So yeah, we're going to have to learn to deal with this thing. I mean, that's the reality of it, and the key word there is live with this thing. I hear the argument all the time, like, hey, don't you care about other people who are susceptible to it, right? And I think my statement has always been, I think you should protect the vulnerable, right? But I also think the vulnerable should protect themselves. We've come a long way in the last 18 months. Maybe going out isn't the best thing for the vulnerable, right? But for those who are not at high risk for any sort of potential death based off the statistics that we've seen over the last 18 months, I think it comes up to them. Or do they feel like it's worth the risk going out? Do you feel comfortable going out, right? Those who are high risk or vulnerable, probably not worth the risk, right? But ultimately, it should be your call.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, everybody's story is different. Look, my next door neighbors, 2 older ladies, both just finished their stint with COVID. They both got it. They're in the bracket that would be, they're in the older age bracket. Not fans of the vaccines. Didn't want it. Don't want it. Just went through COVID, survived it. They don't want me wearing a mask around them. They don't care. We just stayed away from each other. And how did I show that I cared about them? Well, I mowed their lawn.
The question was, I saw this different perspective. Says, Brad, have you been watching the COVID rate in Florida and Alabama? Statistics are a legit tool. Let's take a look at them real fast. I feel like that's something, I would check these numbers out when it was going down. I think it's fair to look at them when they're going up. Here is the new cases in Florida. You can see the cases here in Florida. The 7-day average, 19,000. I think more than anything, cases are nice. I think the more important thing is deaths. And while there may be more cases, the death average is down. Now, obviously, it is going up, right? But I think ultimately, this is the number that everybody should be worried about, because cases are one thing, deaths are another. Let's take a look at that Alabama case really fast. The average 7-day average of deaths is 13. With all due respect, that to me does not move the needle. Like the cases, okay, one thing, sure, that's fine. This is the number. I mean, it literally doesn't move the needle. Mm-hmm. Like literally doesn't. So to say, that's not just a play on words. It literally does not move the needle up at all. Mm-hmm. This is moving the needle. This is pretty much a straight line. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I mean, I heard. I'm going to hold back on that comment. Yeah,
I just want to look at the other states. California once again. Look at new cases. You're seeing a spike in California. California is literally in lockdown right now. Let's take a look at New York. New York is going through. Okay, so New York is seeing a spike once again. Spike in New York is 3,600. Cases. That's not tremendous, but it is going up compared to what it was. But once again, it goes back to deaths. Literally not even moving the needle. And when you look at like New York City, a place that's in lockdown and you need vaccine passports, this is the biggest city in the world, New York City. The 7-day average of deaths is 7. So you're going to lock down a city of 8 million people for more people have been shot, in the last week than. I don't know. Who am I?
Who are we, Craig? We know nothing.
Deaths per million. That's Cliff says deaths per million, and Golden Child says death per million isn't juicy enough. Right.
Yeah.
And this is always just, like I said, I love to hear the different perspectives and for people to say like, hey, why don't you check this out? I think it's important to look at it. And we're not dismissing these numbers at all. The thing to keep in mind is that every single one of these deaths is a human life. It is literally a human life. So that's something to keep in mind. But I always go back to I want to know more about these human lives. I want to know, did they have any comorbidities? Were they overweight? Were they, did they have any, other things that could cause COVID to take over? How old were they? What's the average age of death right now? Is it still, I think at a time we were looking at it, I think it was 85% of deaths were over the age of 65 or something like that, maybe even higher. It was really, really high, and Brad is gone again, but that's okay.
I'm back. My camera's been all kinds of wacky.
That's okay. So,
okay.
Travis says, I think people should stop arguing. People should start arguing with people who don't want to be vaccinated and let people whom do want it and get another shot and raise their immunity. Right? If you want to, go get it. Get it.
That's sound rational thing. You'd think. It's just I'll do what I want to do, but it doesn't seem to. The narrative isn't shaping up that way. It seems to be an us versus them thing, kind of like a wave is forming. I don't
know. Polar Clip says Florida's being attacked by media for being kind of free. Nobody dying here from the Rona. It's the spraying of chemicals from military jets. I don't know enough about that, Polar Clip, so I don't have anything to really say about that. But I do not. So. Kick says, is there a death per million population in the area or death per million people who have contracted the coof? I will see. Let me do a quick Google search because Google once again is very good. So deaths per million. Let me just see what I got by state. Let's see what U.S. There you go. Here's the COVID death rate by state. Here we go. Let's take a look at this real fast. All right. This is COVID death rate by COVID in the United States as of August 4th, 2021 by state. So here you go. New Jersey. Man, you could have given me 50 guesses and I wanted to guess New Jersey as number one. That's crazy. Huh. That's crazy. New Jersey, New York, right behind. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Mississippi, Arizona, Louisiana, Alabama, Connecticut. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm scrolling down until we get to either Texas or Florida. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Texas is 26th. Florida is 27th of deaths per million. Right? Well, I would imagine California's got to be pretty low, right? Now, where's California at? Oh, California's higher. Did I miss them? No. Where's California? California has got to be around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. California, 163 deaths per million. So about, yeah, interesting. Huh.
Wow. Kelly says it all comes down to choice. You want the shot and wear a mask, go for it. You don't want the shot, great, don't get it. The issue is one group is being punished for their choice. Now you've got de Blasio in New York basically saying, look, if you want to rejoin society, you're going to have to get this thing. You're going to have to. If you want to go to shows, if you want to go to a gym, if you want entertainment and food, if you want to see your friends again, then you need to get this shot. Now, that doesn't feel comfortable to me. That doesn't feel like that would work for everybody, right?
Different perspective says, interesting. I think everyone can agree that death is bad. If we get vaccinated and mask up, don't you think that would prevent lockdowns? I'm not a mask Nazi, by the way. I appreciate your comment. I think that it goes back to what I said before. Those who are vulnerable, those who are high risk, you should protect yourselves. So the thing you always hear is like, are you saying you're more your life is more important than my grandma, my sister, my brother, mine, whatever, because you don't want to get vaccinated or you don't want to wear a mask, right? And the answer is no. But are you saying that your life is so valuable that I shouldn't be able to live mine? That I shouldn't be able to go out to a restaurant, that I shouldn't be able to go, to a school. I shouldn't be able to go to, whatever, a movie, a show, because you're fearful, right? Mm-hmm. So.
Well, yeah, you need to remember people look at death in so many different ways. Some people are not scared of dying. Some people are very much scared of dying. Some people are like, hey, look, if I'm going to die tomorrow, I'm going to die. Some people are like, hey, look, if I can prevent anything from happening to me, I'm going to take that chance. So you've got different, perspectives to think about here. And if somebody is like, look, I'm going to walk the tightrope. If I fall down, that's fine. But you can't be the one that's like, well, look, just let me put the net underneath you. That's not your choice.
Yeah, this is interesting here. This is another thing pulled up. This is once again, these are off the CDC, this is off Statistica. Okay, I thought these were off the CDC websites, but let's see, show information sources. This is total number of COVID cases as of August 4th. So, obviously the two most populated cities, the states would be the highest. And, what's crazy about Florida is that Florida has one of the oldest populations in the union, right, of all 50 states. And while it's number 3, it also has, its death rate is considerably lower. Was it 26th out of 50 states? I think just if you look at these numbers, if you just look at things logically, And I know it's tough to do sometimes, but if you just look at these things logically and you look at the statistics of this, you can get a pretty good understanding of things. Let's see, state of health, COVID death rates in the United States by state, death rates. Let's see. Okay, so this is once again back to the per 1,000. State of health. Okay, same thing. State of health, cases and deaths. So the total number of cases and deaths by COVID in the United States as of okay, so this is total cases, case in the last 7 days, total deaths. Okay, so cases versus deaths. What is that percent? And by the way, the CDC feels that this is based off the CDC website. 1 out of every 4 cases, is actually 1 out of every 4.2 cases has been actually put out there. So really, what they're saying is there's been about 130 million cases of COVID so far. So I don't know. You got anything else? I feel like we're kind of just talking it out, and it's always good to talk and chat and stuff.
No, yeah. I'm reading the chats. I keep refreshing my camera, and I think that's good. I mean, our goal here tonight was just to watch The Wave. We have done that. I enjoyed it a second time through. I hope you all enjoyed it. I want to know how you interpret the movie. That's what I want to know. Maybe we can make that our comment tonight with the old algorithm before we get out of here, since we skipped it last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I want to leave. I want to know how people interpreted The Wave.
All right, let's do that quick, then we'll come back and wrap it up.
I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Young people today, let me ask you this. How can we party? The earth is so big. Can we party? I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Party.
It's interesting. I was looking at the total number of cases worldwide here, and it's obviously U.S. is leading the way, and then India, and India had that big charge. So I was like, well, that's interesting because India's 5 million cases behind. They had the big. That's when they said this is the origins of the Delta variant, right? Was in May, and this is when they saw the big push. I was like, wow. So here's like the total number of cases. They capped out at over 400,000 cases in a day, and then they saw the total number of deaths at like 4,000 per day. And now, a couple of months later, it's down to 500 a day. Now, keep in mind, this is one of the most populated places in the world. And what's interesting though is if you go down here and you look at the United States vaccination rate, right? Once again, it's 53%, right? 44%. Oh, sorry, that's Texas. Let me show the United States as a whole. 50.6% are fully vaccinated in the United States. 59.2% are, received 1 dose. But if you look at India in comparison, right? We looked at this last week, and their one vaccinated rate is just less than 29%. Fully vaccinated, just over 8%, and they're seeing the rates drop considerably, right? So, it's just once again, it's all how you want to interpret the data. It's all how you want to interpret the data. So,
Right on. Well, here we did it. Another long 2 hour plus 2 hour episode. Craig, what are we doing?
I don't know. We're just having conversation. Just having a conversation.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. And you know what? Going back to the beginning of the episode with Tai, I feel like his initial comment at the beginning of the episode, Tai, if you're still watching, thanks for hanging with us this time. I hope you keep watching. I feel like your conversation was very relevant to the discussion tonight anyway. And it was good stuff. I enjoyed it tonight.
For sure. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, make sure you guys get the thumbs up button over there for Brad, and get the word out about the show that we do over here. Every episode's a little bit different. It's been I'll tell you honestly, we've been tinkering on whether or not we want to continue on taking up a Sunday night as takes up a lot of time away from our friends and mainly away from our wives and our family. So we've been kind of tinkering on whether or not we want to continue it. So your support obviously is very important. So we'll obviously see how it goes. So we gotta get the numbers up over on the 5 Times August YouTube channel. So yes, faux show. Yeah, man, it's good. Well, I'll tell you what. I say this after all my streams. Hopefully you guys know, look, people are going to try to bring you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal, go get it. Have a great, man. I had something I wanted to say. It's going to bother the hell out of me. It's really going to bother me. It's like, we're going to get done and be like, that's it. There it is right there. Brad, vamp for a minute. I'll let you know that Perigo resubbed tier 1 for 13 months. Perigo, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. That is outstanding.
I can't vamp because my video camera has been freezing all night. Watching the wave has taken over my computer. It's attacking. The wave is a virus, everybody.
Look, I'll tell you this. I'm going to remember it. So I encourage you guys all to come over and see me over at twitch.tv/StutterandCraig. I'll tell you guys what it is at 9 a.m. Yeah, Brad's getting hacked. Oh, there it is. All right. All on me. Look, you guys have a great day. We'll see you guys later on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And here's an inslate for you guys to go watch more videos.